Spurs fans, will we see our team sign a big next week? Or will we see more of center Sohan? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Hope you're having a great weekend. And I caught an article from Yahoo Sports this morning with an updated free agent list for centers. And I thought, we did this, 6 or 8 weeks ago, but this is an updated list. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we could possibly get. I'll give my 2 cents. Of course, give your 2 cents while we're going over it. The potential top available centers in this year's free agent market, with the negotiating window opening at 6 p.m. Eastern on June 30th. That's right, the free agent market starts Monday, and I'm going to actually go live for it at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to go live maybe for an hour or two, hang out, talk Spurs, but also if any big moves are made by the Spurs or other teams, we'll address it. Just a heads up, guys, teams can make offers to free agents that are unrestricted. You just can't sign them until July 6th. You're going to see a lot of guys here that are unrestricted free agents, which means their current teams can make an offer to them. The player has a week to accept the offer or move on. And, of course, the matching offers, et cetera, et cetera. I'm confusing myself. Let's get into the list. Look who's number one. No surprise. Miles Turner. Unrestricted free agent with the Indiana Pacers. With a lot of money on the market and the fact that both sides seem motivated to continue their partnership, expect Turner and Indiana to find common ground on a new deal that looks significantly richer than the ones before. He's not going anywhere. I know Tyrese Halliburton's out next season. More than likely, it'd be a miracle if he plays 1 minute. I totally see Miles Turner returning to the Indiana Pacers. Naz Reid. Now you're gone. Staying in Minnesota. Not a shocker there. Agreed to a 5-year, $125 million deal. Best of luck to you. Up next, Brook Lopez, an unrestricted free agent with the Milwaukee Bucks. Lopez might be 37. He might be slow. He might be declining. But the man is still a physical behemoth who will clog the paint, block shots, and drain a ton of three-pointers. Okay? What do you think will happen? Staying with the Bucks another year isn't a bad play, but if Lopez is looking for another title run, we'll have to look outside the organization and identify a team that's closer. Milwaukee's got some things to do. Dame's out for next season with his Achilles injury. Lopez, if he was younger, I'd say sure. But bringing him in for a year, maybe 2, this one, I'm saying no. I've seen some of you say yes. If we have a chance to make a play for him, go for it. I'm in the no market. Clint Capella, the Swiss bank, with the Atlanta Hawks, an unrestricted free agent. Capella's getting older and less dynamic, but he's still a tough rebounder who challenges shots at the rim and remains a solid lob threat. The Los Angeles Lakers will unquestionably have internal meetings about Capella, considering his theoretical fit with Luka Doncic. Should that be the path Capella chooses, there's a world where he once again will produce impressive box scores. Yeah, actually, I would not mind Clint Capella as a backup to Wemby. Yes, I can't remember if he can shoot the 3 at all. I don't think he can off the top of my head. Yeah, I'd be all in for this for the right price. I believe he's 30 or 31. Maybe for 2 to 3 years? Yeah, actually, I'm all on board. Clint Capella, sure. Bring him on over. Moritz Wagner with the Orlando Magic. Status is a team option with the value of $11 million. I certainly expect him to pick that up. Wagner tore his ACL in December, so we should see teams offer him deals that greatly benefit them in terms of flexibility. What Yahoo thinks will happen is, despite the injury and the fact that could be an unrestricted free agent next summer, the Magic should try to keep him long-term, and I think they will. So, I think he's off the board. All right, we've talked to him at length. Gershon, the Dancing Bear Yabusele, the Philadelphia 76ers. He is an unrestricted free agent, which means we'd have to wait until July 6th to sign him if we make an offer. But using last year's Olympics as a display window, Yabusele made the most of his NBA return, becoming a key offensive contributor for the Sixers. Yabusele should hear out the Sixers, but absolutely seek the biggest payday possible, regardless of team, since he's closing in on 30. For a guy like him, who can occasionally play recklessly, securing his own future is the goal. I have said it numerous times, I would love to get him. What would it take to bring him over? We're looking at 3 years, $36 million, $40 million, $45 million, maybe a 4-year contract. I think this would be a home run if the Spurs were able to get him. 6'8", but I do believe he has a 7-foot-plus wingspan. He's even more than that. He's 7'2". I know he's got a good wingspan. He's a big dude, 265 pounds. He can play the 4 or the 5. He is a stretch 4, stretch 5. The question is, how much would it cost? I don't think the Sixers retain him. I see some signs looking at other Philly analysis with their draft, probably moving up from Gershon Yabusele. Can the Spurs get him? Will there be a bidding war for his services? I don't know, but this is a player that would make a lot of sense. And the bonus is he has chemistry with Wemby, played in the Olympics. Now, some of you have pointed out, appropriately so, were they best buddies in the Olympics? I honestly don't know, but I haven't seen anything bad about the relationship either. So I think this would be an absolute home run for the Spurs if they can get him, and it would fit in our cap, if you will. And then ain't no cap. Best of the rest, Jalen Williams at OKC, team option $2.1 million. I assume he stays. Then Andre Drummond, it says status exercise $5 million player option, so that usually means to me that he is staying with the respective team. But that's not just at Spurs fans. It's just not free agency. There are very limited options, but there's also the trade market. And while I don't know who's available for trade off the top of my head, I try to think of teams that have a lot of centers. And I was like, you know what? They just drafted one. Love the pick or hate it. The Portland Trailblazers are stacked with centers. DeAndre Ayton, whose massive contract, I can't see them moving. Williams, Reith, Robert Williams? Dupe Reith, and now Hanson Yang. But the one that I didn't mention is the one that I'd like to see us trade for, if possible, and that is Don McClingan. First off, you'd have immediate chemistry with him and Stephon Castle. They were on the UConn championship team the previous season. And his contract is team friendly. The question is, how much would it take to pry Don McClingan from Portland, and would they be willing to move on from him? I think Ayton has 1 year left on his contract. Reith has 1 year left on his contract. Yank will be on a 4-year rookie contract. Or they see in their future at center, Klingon and Yang, and are just going to ride out Ayton, Reith, and Williams. There's way too many centers. They don't need 5. I would try to pry Don McClingan from Portland. I don't know if Portland's feeling like they're in a kind of a win now mode by bringing in Drew Holiday. I really don't know what Portland's doing, to be honest with you. But if we can trade, maybe we trade a player. They don't need Devin Vassell. They have a lot of shooting guards still. Would you part with... Let me ask you, Spurs fans. If they would take a Harrison Barnes and draft capital for Donovan Clingan, if it works out salary-wise, would you do that? Or if there's 2 other young guys on the Spurs that are not named Jeremy Sohan, Stephon Castle, what do you say? Am I crazy, or do you think, TSR, you know what? Donovan Clingan from the Portland Trailblazers, yeah, can we make that happen? Not likely, but I think he'd be the perfect backup center, a rim protector, shot blocker, doesn't have much of a three-point shot. Who cares? We need a backup big that can be a backup big. He doesn't need to be to stretch 5, and maybe even share the court once in a while with Wemby. When I look around the league, I know a lot of you said Walker Kessler. The Jazz are going to they're going to want way too much for Walker Kessler. Would love to have him. Could have had him. 2022 draft, we drafted Malachi Branham 20th overall. Kessler went to the Jazz at 22. But he's certainly a player I'd love to have as a backup to Wemby, although I think he would probably want to be more of a starter. I guess the other question, too, a lot of you talked about Wemby being a stretch 4. Could the Spurs try to get a starting legit 5 in the next year or two? I'm going to have to, like you guys say, trust the process. I love what we did in the draft, minus trading pick number 38. I would have loved Maxine Reno as a backup. Even to develop the backup, it's just a second-round pick. Not going to break the bank, $2 million a year. It doesn't work out. I do believe you guys have said those contracts aren't guaranteed. Then move on from them. But give them a chance. Because right now, we got one guy that's over 6'10", don't we? And that's Wemby. That is it. Everybody else I believe in the roster is 6'9" and less. I just don't think that's going to work. Still an exciting time to be a Spurs fan. We got Harper. We got Bryant. Now, to finish the Infinity Gauntlet, to finish Thanos' Gauntlet, Brian Wright, we were missing one last Infinity Gem. We need a big. Make it so. Drop a comment down below. Who do you think we should go after in free agency that's affordable and we can get? Besides Yabusele, we've talked about him at length, so I'm sure he's going to be on that list. But also, do you think we can trade for a big? Do you like my idea of Donovan Clingan? Do you think we could actually pry Walker Kessler from the Jazz, or is Danny Ainge just going to, no, not going to happen. Hit the TSR Sports channel. Subscribe and become a part of our awesome Spurs community. I thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go.